All right, looks like we are rolling. Hi, Leo, that's you guys. This is Tarot Illumination. This is your general report for what we call May 2018. It's just like a broad spiritual perspective. I like to think of it as a journey of the heart, because the heart literally has to pump thousands of beats to get through this next month. It's up to you, Leo, the conscious person, to listen to that and love you. Love thyself, first and foremost, to get through the month, okay? It's that simple. Cards, well, let's just get straight into the notes. Get it out of the way, okay? This is such a big deal month for everybody. You might not feel it or know it, but from my perspective as your reader, it's kind of a big deal. There's a massive gateway. That's how I see it. This is my personal notes for Leo, May 2018. You know the routine, of course. Watch for your sun, moon, and rising, if you have all three different, and then squish it all together and then reinterpret it and make it your own private reading. Okay, there you go. Excuse me. Now, so what is the big deal about May 2018? Well, here it is. It's a big shift in Taurus energy. May the 15th, right in the middle of the month, we have this massive Taurus new moon simultaneously with Uranus moving into Taurus after a 7-year journey through Aries over here. It's now going to move through a 7-year journey through Taurus over here. And it starts May 15th. There's no going back. It's going to be triggered every year for the next 7 years as the sun moves around and hits the Uranus point here. It's going to be triggered every month as the moon moves around and hits the Uranus point over here. Kaboom, there you go. Think of it as like an amazing, weird, freaky clock, okay? So for you, Leo, this is happening up here in your 10th house, like your destiny, your place in this world, your mission, your reason for being here. What are you doing on Earth, okay? And it's going to be like moments of shock and awe and awakening, unpredictable, radical shifts, earthquakes. Like one moment everything is going along and then suddenly kerblam, something else happens. It triggers a change, a shift. You couldn't have planned it. It just is the way it is. You might feel the rumblings, but you might not know the details of how it works out. So let's get into it a little bit more, then we'll move on to the cards, I promise, soon. The thing is, at the very tippy end of April, there is a Taurus Scorpio full moon, okay? Here, Taurus sun, the Scorpio moon, and that's going to have an afterglow for at least 2 weeks until we get to the May 15th, okay? So for the afterglow, you might be coming to a crescendo of awakening at the very early parts of May, and then integrating all of that you've just realized until you get to this new moon. Now the thing is, the Taurus-Scorpio axis is technically squared to your sun, so that's very challenging, okay? Just please allow for that. May in general might be a very stressful month for you, okay? There is some light relief towards the end of the month because it shifts into the Gemini energy, which is very comfortable for you. It's very sextile, it's very supportive. And right at the tippy end of the month, May 29th here, okay, May 29th, we have the Sagittarius moon opposing the Gemini sun. So you might come to some kind of culmination realization in your love life, in your business, in your creative self-expression here that you didn't know before. And it's about time. It's going to be quite obvious, probably in some ways, I would say quite vivid. And I'm just, this is not a love relationship reading, but just mark your calendar. First 2 weeks of the month, and the critical date, May 15th, and the 2 weeks onwards from there to the next full moon over here, May 29th, okay? So, make the best of it. I'm not going to give you an astrology reading. You can figure that out. Go to another channel or something, and then have fun. We're going to focus on the tarot now. What's the story here? Cards were well shuffled in advance. No jumpers, no flyers, no oracles, no reversals. I love the cards the way they were originally painted. Do you like to look at art upside down? I don't. So we're going to use the journey of the heart spread here. That's how I think of it, as a journey. And each beat counts, okay? You're always pumping nutrients around to where it's needed, and you're pumping out waste into the waste system so you can have a healthy life. It's up to you to listen to your heart, Leo, and feed it what it needs. You don't have to live through our heads, even though so much of our life appears to be lived through our heads. Okay? Cards are well shuffled. Let me go. I need to go to the very last second. Please invite your angels to join us. Tarot Illumination angels are here. Bring yours in too. They like to be invited. Okay? So we are good to go. All right, here we go. Please forgive me. I get carried away sometimes. All right. That was a really odd cut as far as I'm concerned as your reader. If you want love and relationship readings, by the way, there's a whole playlist for that at Tarot Illumination. Right now, this is just broad spiritual perspective, okay? Let's have a look. So here we go. This is you at the very core heart of you. The heart knows what it needs, knows what it wants, and it's up to you to listen and feed that, okay? Whatever this might be, you might be very unaware of this energy. It might be vividly apparent to you. Who knows? Over here is what I think of as legacy energy. What are you bringing into the room with you right now? Are you heavily weighed down? Are you stressed? Are you still freaking out from the eclipses in Leo Aquarius in January? Are you starting to anticipate the excitement of the Leo Aquarius eclipses in around August? Who knows? Maybe you're just breezing through the month gently, just taking it easy. Who knows? Over here is the energy of the ever-present now. This is where you own your power. It's like it's nothing to do with the past. It's nothing to do with the future. They take care of themselves so long as you stay deeply present and conscious in the now. Be grounded, be present, be conscious, be here. Of course, that can be hard to do because it means literally having to accept everything exactly as it is because it can't be any other way. It's nice to rest on what we think of as our past, our conditioning, our status quo, and perhaps use that as a template to project onto the future. But the reality is we are constantly, the only constant is change. Leo, you're a fixed sign like Taurus, like Scorpio. You like things to be a certain way. But the reality, everything is constantly in a state of flux. The planets are always moving. It never, ever, ever stops. There's no point in holding on too tightly to this worldly physical life because it will change. At some point, your boat will get rocked and Rockabye Baby will fall out of the treetops. Okay? So it is in the present where you have the highest chance and opportunity to maximize and optimize yourself through the healing power of your decisions. We're very lucky as human beings. We have this faculty of being able to override our limbic behavior and make deliberate conscious decisions that seem to go contrary to our own egoic needs. Okay? Yeah. So how do we do that in such a way that your decisions are very loving towards you, which is the most loving thing you can do? Love thyself first and foremost. Optimize yourself. Make yourself the most awesome Leo person you can be, because that's what's best for your loved ones and the rest of the planet, okay? And if you do that really effectively, staying very conscious in the present, you create consequences, okay, that are your own. Now, if you're abdicating your privileges to own your life and make the decisions, then this energy will feel more like fate. In other words, oh, well, this stuff happened. Oh, well, that happened. Who knows why? Blame it on the planets. It was inevitable. It was fated. It was destined. It's like nothing to do with me, Leo. That's like, you can live that way if you want. A lot of people do. Okay, by choice. It's deliberate, but they don't know they're making the choice. They're just operating off autopilot. Here at Tarot Illumination, we really encourage you to be very conscious and switch off the autopilot functions and stay very present and take control. What does it look like when you mess up? Let's say when you doze off and you just decide, I'm just going to chill, I'm going to cruise on everything that I know, and that's fine, that's good enough. And then poopy stuff happens. Okay? What does that look like? What if we mess up? On the other hand, what if you stay conscious and present and you deliberately focus your love energy and activate, deliberately, like, listen to what the heart is saying, making decisions accordingly, loving yourself first, and you succeed? What does that look like? Over here, the momentum, the prospect into the very next heartbeat. Think of this as the heart. I hope you can see that there. Please use your imagination. You're very creative, Leos. I know you can do that. Please see that as your heart, okay? And this is your heart at the core actually doing the beating, pulse by pulse, beat by beat, okay? Over here, the energy of circumstance, okay? We're going to look at that, and you, Leo, are going to make the best of it. All right, here we go. The Two of Wands. So to me, this looks like a really good opportunity, a really good time to be very aware that the weather is changing. Put your finger up in the air, take a measure of everything and anything that's happening around you. What are your mates doing? What are your coworkers doing? What are your friends and family doing? What are you doing with your life? What decisions are you going to start having to make for yourself right now? What options lie out there in front of you? How exactly are you going to take charge and take ownership of this situation? Because there's a lot riding on it, in case you hadn't realized, up here in the destiny section. It's going to be very evident in your life, in your world, in your day-to-day life, that these radical shifts are going to happen. So you might as well get used to it, accept it, and understand it now. Get used to the idea that things are going to be changing big time, incrementally, unpredictably, and it's very important to be able to anticipate and adjust your sails and shift your patterns accordingly. And there's no point in trying to set your compass saying, right now, I'm going to go from A to B. 7 years from now, it's going to be amazing. It's impossible. The only thing you can do is basically take account of circumstances, weather, and conditions, make the best of it, make your decisions in the moment, and then live that moment through to its conclusion, and then repeat the process. Unending, repeated processes of decision making and setting and resetting courses, and seeing how that works out and plays out in your life. Okay, at the very core heart of you, what have we got going on? The Page of Swords here. Well, my feeling here is that part of you is having to admit to yourself that you're quite innocent and quite naive about these matters, and then the heart doesn't necessarily know what to do. The heart knows that it needs to learn more and grow more, and the heart is definitely going to make that happen. And I feel that deep at the soul of you, it's like your heart is going to call you out. Like, if you think of the disparity between the heart and the ego, to me it feels like your heart is determined to call you out anytime that you, Leo, neglect the heart. The heart is going to say, excuse me, I am going to be the whistleblower on you. You ignore me at your peril. Seriously, I'm not messing around. Ignore me at your peril. I am the very core of you. I am sustaining you. You might think you are sustaining yourself through your brain and your skills and your talents, but without this, there's nothing, okay? Please remember that. And that's what the heart is telling you. And the heart, my feeling, is willing to crush and destroy and cut away and cut down anything and anyone or circumstance or that does not serve the heart. So you might not enjoy that. In other words, you might feel an internal conflict between the heart, which knows what it needs and what knows what it wants, and your version of what reality should be. So be prepared for living through May, and that wouldn't surprise me at all because it's a very conflicted angle here. The Taurus Scorpio energy is very fixed. You're coming into the month full on max, heavy fixed energy, hard squaring right onto your sun, your moon, your rising, whatever it is. So that's almost like the energy of conflict, okay? Deep challenge. Squared here, opposition there. And you might notice this in your relationships, who knows? But your heart is not going to let circumstance or anything get the better of it. And that includes you, Leo. Your heart is going to be calling you out if it has to, okay? What are you bringing in with you? Okay. Well, it looks like, well, with the Ten of Swords here, you've already kind of reached a point. I think this is like a long-term hangover effect from the eclipses in January, and we're right in the middle of it right now. May, this is right in between the eclipses. The eclipses in January and the other one's coming up in August. So to me, this feels like this is like a low point. This May period might feel like a low point, especially for the first few weeks, while these serious reality checks are being laid upon you, okay? And like it's enough is enough. It's like your heart, if this is, let's say this is actually, both of these are heart energy, okay? Your heart is basically saying to you, ego, please listen, Leo, my lovely, lovely Leo, who is living my life, carrying me in the middle of your body. Don't need this anymore. It's as bad as it can be. It's worse. It doesn't need to be any worse than this. We can stop this from happening anymore, but we have to listen to the heart, okay? It feels to me like you've been through the wars here, Leo. You've had a lot of challenges and a lot of pain and suffering, and you can't take it anymore. Well, guess what? You don't need to take it anymore, but it does require an attitude shift, a serious attitude adjustment to love yourself first from the core of the heart outwards, rather than trying to like make it happen from the outside and then forcing it in like as a template to fit your heart, and then your heart has to say, okay, it's not like that. It needs to work from the heart outwards. So if you're coming in to the reading here thinking, I can't take it anymore, I'm totally fried, I'm totally toasted, I'm totally done, and yet I know that there's new horizons ahead, well, that would make total sense. I just don't see this happening overnight. I think this is an extended kind of vibe here that I'm feeling for you. And you are aware, I think you're aware that there's new dawnings, new horizons happening. And it's almost like, please bring it on. Please bring me the new dawn. Please bring me the new horizons, because I can't take this anymore. I'm done with this. It's history. It's over. I don't need any more of that pain. I don't need people undermining me, destroying me. I don't need to be a victim of my own conditioning. I don't need poor attitudes, poor behavior, really, really bad habits, poor poor self-esteem issues, whatever it is. Done. History. Done. Be done. Be gone with this. Need a new way to be in the way I conduct myself in my destiny. So what about the present? What about now? Oh, okay. This really caught me by surprise. Okay, the little Six of Cups here. To me, this is a very gentle way that I'm hoping that this is like not circumstantial, but you will start to, in other words, if you take this reading seriously, Leo, and you think, what the heck is TL talking about? If you think about it, if you start from the very heart of you, and you just just shut the doors to everything and anything that is not related to heart energy. You listen closely to your heart. What do you feel? What is it you're feeling deeply at your core? Listen to what that message is. Listen to the little inner voice, the inner guide, all those things that might have been ignored or distracted away by things like activities, what appears to be the career for now, ambitions, goals, desires, commitments, chores, tasks, duty, all these things. So what? What's going on with the heart level? When you realize that, like, oh my God, there really is a beating heart at the very core of me. And this is a chance for you to, this happened with one of my uh, uh, comments that came in the other day. And she wrote in like, oh, thank you, T.O. It's like, I needed to hear that. Be your own best soulmate to yourself. Be a soulmate to yourself. That's what I'm feeling here for you. This is not a love and relationship reading, okay? This is all about you, Leo. And my feeling here is that this is the time right now in the present where if you're not aware of it, it's very, very important to be aware that you are the one who loves yourself the most, okay? Because no one else is going to do it. You might have a lover, you might have lovers, you might have all sorts of, people who love you and adore you, but for whatever reasons, it's their reasons, okay? This has to be you from the inside out. This has to be you willing to be the best soulmate you can be for yourself, okay? Because no one else can do that. Be loving and be loved, and start with yourself first. I am loving, so I am loved. I am loving. I love myself. I love myself very, very deeply. I care about you, dear Leo. It's almost like talking to your heart, saying, I truly, truly care about you. I don't know if I've neglected you. I didn't know that I was neglecting you. Perhaps we've been apart for so long, but now in this lifetime, here, right now, uh, triggered by this reading, it's going to be time for us to reconnect from where we were. We might have been splintered away from ourselves, deeply, deeply fractured beings, but now it's a time to come together, bring everything into alignment, body, mind, heart, and soul into alignment like one thing, where it's all one beating heart. So, like when this heart is working properly, it would have this beautiful glowing aura, this lovely, lovely, like pink gold, sparkly aura, and it can have that auric feel of love, literally like the healing power of love that comes out of you like an aura, as though you had fallen in love. You know, when you fall in love, it's a very, very beautiful thing. It affects your whole aura. Everybody can smell it on you, like, oh my gosh, Leo, what's happened? Can you see that Leo person? They must be in love. Look at them. Look how they are. Well, you can do that to yourself, okay? Okay? So, staying present in the moment, in other words, it doesn't matter what happened, it doesn't matter what's going to be. Love yourself now. Love yourself. Fall in love with yourself now. Cherish yourself. Treat yourself to the love that you deserve, okay? So, all right, with the Hierophant here, to me it feels very, very important that when it comes to making your decisions about what am I going to do right now in the moment, the only thing that counts right now, being grounded, being present, being conscious, being here in the moment right now, because that's where you own your power. And when you realize you own your power, that becomes like a code of life. Like, oh my gosh, first of all, forgive and forget the past. Don't expect and demand too much out of the future because you might be disappointed. And so on and so on. Be loving, be loved. Invite the healing power of love into your life from up above. Create your own code of commandments, your own life code that works for you, and then implement whatever one that is appropriate when you're making the decisions to love you first, okay? Do it by the book. Create a code, like an actual practice code of how to do this properly. And make it official, make it formal, declare it, almost like create a template, like your own set of commandments. You don't have to have 10. You can have 6 or 3 or 5 and just make them your own. And like a decree, like an invocation, whenever you have to, whenever you're making decisions, and you're making thousands of decisions a day. So how are you going to do that so you stick to the code? Like you've created a code, you're coming out and above and beyond your own pain and suffering, realizing you can do that by invocation, by deliberately choosing to love yourself first and becoming your own most loving soulmate. So how do you do that? Stick to the power, stick to the code, literally like marry yourself to yourself, okay? I know that sounds absurd, but that's kind of what I'm feeling here for you. So how do you do that effectively? How do you optimize yourself like this, okay? Well, my feeling with the Knight of Swords is that it becomes like the power of the spoken word, the power of the written word. Thoughts are things. Understanding that it's almost like you can create and change your reality moment by moment through the healing power of your words, the decisions that you make, because a lot of decisions, very, very conscious decisions, are made in a very conscious, deliberate, open way, where you have to deliberately bring everything onto the table that affects your situation, whatever it is right now. Like, what is this issue here? How's that going to affect me? What's this? What's this? What's this? What's this? What are the challenges over here? What are the hot spots? What are the landmines? What are the pitfalls? Where are the black holes in this situation? Where is the opportunity? Where is all the love? And then make your decisions very, very strategically, very, very courageously, with all the best of intentions to live according to universal truths, not subjective truths. Stick to your code, stick to your laws that you create for yourself. Create a code that works for you and then stick to it, okay? Live it out and be the champion of that code. I hope that makes sense, Leo. Literally be the champion of your own self-love. Like, prove that it can be done. I can do it, then anybody can do it, all right? Consequently, to me, it feels like if you think of this as a formula, as a plan, or as a pattern, as a way to love and be loved, starting with the self first, beat by beat, heartbeat by heartbeat, like the process starts to become a formula, and you start to realize, oh, I can do this by creating a formula, a code, like a code book, literally like how computer programmers create a code. And with, not that I'm an expert at these things, but when they're creating computer code, every period, comma, asterisk, letter, space, blank, underscore counts. One tiny mess up in any of that thing, and the code can be toxic or what do they call it? Malicious, without even knowing it. So you have to be very, very careful. So to me, what this tells me is that you bring a sensation of consequence to you where you realize, my gosh, the past is over. Like the past might have been comfortable and simple. You had it all locked down and everything was great up to a point. And then you start to realize that there's a lot of stuff that's obsolete and redundant. A lot of pain and suffering is going to go, but you've got a whole new journey starting ahead, like taking the self-love concept to a whole nother level, literally turning it into a code of practice, which might feel to you like, God, sometimes I wish I could go back to the old ways where it was simple and all I used to do was get drunk or stoned or something when I had a problem. But you can't do that anymore. It's like you're going next level. We're talking about next level evolution in your destiny in this world, okay? And the way that happens is ultimately through self-love first. So it means like your old methods of self-love are redundant. Just like, dang. Now also remember with this card, energy flows where attention goes. So to me, it's a constant reminder, tick tock, tick tock. Anytime a stressful moment occurs and you recognize them as stressors, stress factors that trigger you into having to make conscious, deliberate decisions to love yourself first, then it's just like everything goes from here, click, over to here, click. It's like a switch. Aha! Focus on the love. Focus on the love right now, here and now. Where is the love opportunity right now? How can I become my own best soulmate right now? Focus, 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 focus over here. Let go of the past. There's no point in dwelling on the past. It's gone. It's history. There's no point in using this as a template to project your future. It's unstable. It's gone. It's redundant. It's not going to happen. The only thing that counts is the love right now. Think of this as a tiny miniature Ace of Cups. It's right there waiting for you. And you have created that by your decisions, okay? So what if you mess up? What if you neglect the code? What if there's errors in the code and you're just abandoning this, thinking this is just Terra Illumination off of his rocker? No. And you mess up and you just think, I'm just sticking to the old ways. You know, I'm used to pain. I can handle it. I don't want to have to go through all this change and having to be a truth teller to myself. You get completely lost. You get completely off track. You lose it. You end up looking like a complete idiot walking around in the wilderness. So like people would say like, well, what happened to you, Leo? Like you really fell off the bus. You know, that's a problem. However, when you get it right, you stick to the plan and you stay vigilant. You don't have to be hyper vigilant, but it's almost at the point of having to be hyper vigilant in order to get this formula to work, because there's not a lot of wiggle room. It's very, very easy to slip back into all this pain and all suffering that doesn't have to be. So when you do get it right, when you get the code, you understand it's a code and you're writing the code, you're writing a new code for your destiny. You're literally creating your destiny as you go along, and it's going to be massively triggered like we were talking about every year. when the Taurus sun comes up and butts up with, Uranus, it's going to be a big trigger moment. Every month when it comes around, it's going to be a big trigger moment. So there's going to be a lot of triggers over the next 7 years for all this stuff. And you're going to be a very different person by the end of 7 years when it comes to your destiny, okay? So please understand that. So when you do get it right, when you are sticking to the code and you're constantly, vigilantly, always monitoring your code, making sure you're sticking to the code, then it's very liberating. It creates massive liberation. And the thing about Uranian energy, it's all about freedom, liberation, breaking off the shackles of conformity and the status quo, and allowing the liberty to flow. So that's extreme liberation, which allows you to tap into. Basically, in other words, you don't have to force your destiny to happen. What you have to do is open the gate and allow your destiny to happen by loving yourself first. I know that sounds inverted or counterintuitive, but that's actually how it works here. And then the journey unfolds automatically. You don't have to know the destiny or know the outcome. All you have to do is stay present in the conscious, love yourself first, okay? Sorry, I'm taking a long time with your reading here, more than the others. Let's have a look at the momentum. You see? It works. It's a formula. It's a formula. Love breeds love. This is evidence of love. The Ten of Pentacles is like gold. It's like scoring. It's like the having it all card. And once you learn that this is a code, this is a formula, and you write it, you have to write your own code and your own formula, and you see that it works. You start to realize, my gosh, it really is true what TL was saying. Love is as love does. Love, if you think of this as evidence of love, all those pentacles are symbolic value. It's very Taurian energy, actual physical evidence of like success in your career, success in self-love, being the most loving person that you can for yourself, being your own best soulmate, marrying yourself to yourself is the most important thing you could do to activate your destiny. And it would be like, this would be the embodiment of love is as love does. In other words, you start to realize that love does mean having to extend yourself above and beyond your comfort zone in order to nurture and foster your own spiritual health and healing and growth, and consequently the others, your significant others around you, the loved ones in your life. It is a formula, it is a skill, it is a practice, and you will learn that more and more and more as you go along. Okay? And May the 15th is just the beginning of this. All right? So I hope you get something out of this. I hope it makes sense. You can reinterpret however you want. I know a lot of you are super smart, brainiac tarot readers yourselves, so go for it. All right. Thanks for choosing Tarot Illumination. Bye-bye.